On Monday, September 12, 2022, the 19 northern governors and all the region's monarchs crossed an unaccustomed line in the unfolding agitation of a new Nigeria. They called for the amendment of the 1999 Constitution to give legal backing for the immediate establishment of state police. They resolved that the creation of the state police was the only way to confront the continued insecurity in the region and the country at large, with kidnapping, massive killing, and wanton destruction of property spiraling. Now, let's understand what this means for Nigeria. And we have in the studio with us a retired Assistant Inspector General of Police, Wilson Inalegu. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to be here this morning.
All right. So what does, the establishment of state police, mean for Nigeria?
Well, ordinarily, state police in a federal republic would have been the ideal thing. But going by our experience on ground, right from our independence up to 1966, it was discovered and found that the regional police did not help matters because of misuse. And so in 1966, then Supreme Commander General Rossi set up the Gobi Commission. And then in 1968, the result was released. And that led to the collapse of the various regional police forces, the local government and the provincial and the rest of them. And so you have the Akoda in the southwest, the Danduka, Native Authority Police in the north, and the rest of them. We now met within the Nigeria Police Force because there were several allegations of oppression. If you belonged, they became like political thugs used by the regional authorities. And in the wisdom then, it was found that, okay, we need to have just one police force. That's why you have the Nigeria Police. Even the 1979 Constitution and 1999 Constitution provide, I think in Section 214, that there shall be one police force and for the Federal Republic, for the Federation, and no other police force shall exist in any part thereof. But yes, there have been agitations. But these agitations say, oh, because there is an increase in crime, we have to go regional, we have to have state police. But I don't think that is the solution right now, because we have serious problem. We are dealing with a kind of unity in diversity, and we have a lot of mix. And so those of us who are practitioners, who have had the privilege of working in various places, we look at it and say, look, yes, state police is okay, but right now, it's not the ideal time. And look at the time that this call is coming, at the threshold of a major national elections. And that is the time these agitations are coming. And this things, it raises a lot of fear in some of us. It's curious that this call is coming at this time, knowing that the state governors have enormous powers. And I want to say what we have is said, no state commissioner of police, if the governor gives him legitimate order, directive about management of crime and all that, there is no commissioner of police that will not do that. But where you have the Nigeria Police Force is suffering from gross resource problem. The problem of Nigeria Police is resources. There are no resources to work. And you are going to build a state police from a police force that is under-resourced, understaffed. There are no materials to work with. That is a challenge. We've got to address this challenge. The challenge of training institutions. Why are you going to train these people you are bringing as state police? Ordinarily, that is this thing. But right now, you are going to have a situation. Right now, if you have election in the states, most of them, they are consensus. The candidates must be given to you by the state governors. They have those, those powers. You can imagine you give them state police. Nobody is even going to win any election if they are not anointed.
Let me please step in here. So one of the arguments conversed by people who want this state police is that even now, just like you mentioned, the issue of resource constraint,
yes,
that the police is so underfunded, and the governors end up funding the police in their respective states. That if that is the case, then why shouldn't they have their own state police instead of funding a federal police?
If you have a police command that has 30, let's say 40 police divisions, and the governor comes and contributes 10 vehicles, gives some money to buy fuel, is that enough to fund the police? So the federal government bears a large chunk. What it's doing is complementing. After all, there are security votes. What I'm trying to canvass for is those factors that led to the collapse of the regional police, have they disappeared? Are there no more challenges of unity in Nigeria? We now have, what we have right now, we have a lot of militia. You have a Bebeagu, you have an Eastern Security Network, Amotekun. Maybe that one's a little bit, organized and all that. But others are forming. Even the supernumerary police, or what we call SPY, the supporting police, the Friday police we call them. In 2020, April, the President Muhammad Buhari, approved for community policing, having a special constabulary in the various localities. And what did the government say? Say, look, we are approving this under our community policing scheme. The federal government will give you allocation, let's say 1,000, federal government will pay. If you state government, you want more, you apply. Mm-hmm. You can say you want 10,000. They are going to be giving police uniform, but the color will be varied a little bit. The number they'll carry on their chest, instead of 6 numerals, you have 3. If you go to Nigeria Security Printing and Minting, you find them there. If you go to WAEC offices, you find them there. They wear police uniform. These people work in communities. They mix, they interact, and gather information, and then through the chain of command, they pass them. You see, when you talk of law enforcement is about intelligence gathering. It's about utilization of intelligence. It's about technology. And where you don't have that, so when you have these people working in the community, have the governors keyed into it? I think Kwara experimented. There was demonstration. They didn't pay them. Now, some state governments are launching various outfits. In some of them, they don't even use police to train them. They use military to train them. And we are talking about law enforcement. We are talking about that skill you acquire to be able to mingle with the communities. In terms of respecting their human rights, you see them all the time. I, as a DPO, when I was DPO, when 2 communities have problem with land, I invite them. So I get to understand their mentality. Now you are training the various security outfits in your state, you bring military to train them. So you destroy that part of law enforcement. And so I have a lot of apprehension. And I find it suspicious that at this time that we are at the threshold, at the cusp of a major election, we want state police. So, let me tell you, if you carry out a survey among serving officers and retired officers, whether at the junior rank, at the rank, I can assure you that more than 98% will be in favor that right now we maintain the status quo. There are steps that have been taken. There should be agitation. We have zones created, the AIG zones, the commissioners of police. I think there should be a kind of devolution of power to the AIGs. There are certain things that should end on the desk of the AIG. Those are close. By the time you begin to experiment that, you give powers to AIGs, they have budget to do few things, not everything coming to Abuja. When you begin to have that devolution will begin to bring it closer to the communities. Just like the area commands have assistant commissioners of police, have a set of police divisions under them. Right now, what we should be clamoring for, especially as we are approaching an election, we should be talking about training and retraining towards the election. We should be talking about providing necessary resources that will aid in rapid response during the election period. When we do this, when we do this, and then getting our training institutions properly equipped, when we do that, we now say, okay, look, we are moving. We are going with the community policing arrangement, the special constabulary. We are experimenting on them, they are working. And then we begin to build from there. But boom, state police, 1,000. Election comes. In that community, they are not in favor. Nobody is even going to vote from there. And all that. I am not saying you cannot misuse the federal police. But you know, when you have the federal, the president is very accountable, because even the international community have a way of monitoring how the president administers the country when things go like that. Even as developed as the United States, we say, well, the United States is a federation, all the states have it, but the situation there is different. Holding people accountable, even the Police Service Commission.
Okay, so what about an enabling environment? Do you think, Nigeria has the enabling environment, to create state police?
That is a problem. The enabling environment is not just there, because accountability is a difficult issue. It is easier to hold the federal government accountable because of the different people and all that. You can hold federal government. The police is not doing well. Somebody cries from Abeokuta, somebody cries from Maiduguri. But if you are in Lagos, last man arrest you, take you, the experiences people have had, it's been a very difficult thing. But if we evolve, if we get more mature, if the politicians can create enabling environment without saying consensus, without being responsible, who goes into the Senate, who goes into the House of Rep, who becomes speaker. If the speaker is not of their favor overnight, he's impeached, and then so many things. So the situation now is even more there than it was, leading to the Operation Wetie, the Team Riot, and the rest of them. We are in our unity is very fragile. There is IPOP looking to secede, and there are so many of such agitation. So let us hold this country together. Then when the time comes, of course, state police is a good thing, but the atmosphere right now is not. The democracy is just getting to 24 years, so 23 plus. By next year, it should be 24 years, the new democracy that we have. And we're happy that in this 24 years, it is growing every day. There is accountability. People can vote you that if you do well. So we want that thing to go on. But please, for God's sake, provide for the Nigerian police. Then you can hold them accountable. Look at the major operation going on in London on the burial of the king. Only 10,000 police officers are deployed. We're having over 2,000 leaders across this, and millions of people gathering to pay their respect to the queen. Only 10,000 police. They are backed by by technology. They are backed by adequate resources. I know we don't have that money, but we can aspire to do that. And that police is giving that mandate. The military will come, but the military that will carry weapon for that will be approved by the police. Navy police will deploy. Military police will deploy, but only with the approval of the Metropolitan Police will they bear weapon. But here we are. You create civil defense. We don't know what really their responsibility is. I think it's only in Nigeria that civil defense carry weapon. They don't carry weapon in other countries. They carry weapon. They have divisional officers, DOs. They don't call their own DP. So you don't even understand whether Section 214 is being violated. The resources that should have been provided to make this agency effective, they're being dissipated in other agencies. And you have a police division with 300 personnel. What do you have? 2 rickety vehicles. Robbery going on in the neighborhood, they're unable to respond. Oh, police is inefficient. what have you provided for the police to be in? I have gone out of the country. I was in Namibia in 1989. Nigeria police was rated the best. I was in Sierra Leone under the United Nations, UNAMSIL, for Nigeria police, all the police forces, we had about 22 foreign countries, and all of them wanted to work with us because our boys work without getting tired. But here we are. We don't even have now.
Okay, now, some people, don't you think that some of this argument, especially against state police, will be seen as sentimental, especially coming from people like you who had worked in the Nigerian police force, who perhaps want trying to be protective to see that the Nigerian police is not rendered irrelevant with the creation of state police?
Whenever you create what makes them irrelevant? There will be spheres of influence. Right now, don't we have VIOs? Are they not traffic police? They are road traffic services. In the FCT, don't you see them stopping and searching? Don't we have road safety? But the core duty of police, when there is a road crash that is fatal and there is death, the police will investigate. They will have their sphere of influence. It even makes, but what we are saying is that when you are in a fragile situation, you've got to be circumspect when you make certain decisions. Because when there are a lot of outcry, you know, when you have all this, you talk of Amotekun, Ebubeagu, and the rest, who are those there? Do we have non-indigenous among them? And we have, our country is very fluid. People move from the north to the south, south to the north, east to west, and all like that. So what I am saying really is, I am not saying that the idea of state police is totally bad. I am saying that the science right now is so fragile, because you go to the southeast now on Mondays, you don't go to work, because if you do, either ESN or something is enforcing, or some band of criminals. But if you have a police force, the Nigeria police, properly resourced, at least fairly resourced, I wouldn't say, because the country is suffering from debt of, the economy is crippling, it's so difficult. But if you give them something reasonable and you hold them accountable, give powers to the AIG, so that the IG is not saddled with everything. If you do that, you are going to have, people begin to experience the nearness, so that if you need certain things, the AIG should have that power to be able to do it. The AIG should be able to talk about monitoring and evaluation. He has the resources to send his officers from Abuja to Minna to monitor the guys that are on patrol. Are they conducting their patrols the way patrols is supposed to be conducted? Are cases being investigated properly? The AIG will have that allowance to pay the officers that he sends. And then the IG will begin to hold the AIGs responsible and accountable. But, you see, then from there, the Nigeria police is sitting well. And then you say, okay, we begin to start state police. And then, because you are going to use the same training institutions, and then you begin to build the state police. And it goes like that. And then the Nigeria police, the state police will work. Well, the Nigeria police work very well with VIO. VIO is not state police.
Okay. Now,
they are traffic police.
Some of the underlying reasons for the rise of, insecurity, injustice, inequality, literacy, unemployment, and poverty. Now, some have actually argued that, the governors have actually not done enough to address these challenges in their respective states, and they've not, invested in human capital development in terms of budget releases, cash backing, quality service delivery, and development outcomes. Do you think it will affect their chances for the clamor of, the state police creation?
So many things work against them. My classmate in the university, he called me last night. He retired in 2018. He has not gotten his retirement benefits. He's not on pension. He said somebody was owing him something in JOS. I should please help him, talk to him. That one was our junior in UniJOS. You are not paying salaries. You are not paying pension. You bring police, you give him gun. He's not getting his salary. Will you be paying the police and not pay other civil servants in your state? You see, let's face it. Yes, you are the governor. There should be, in a federation, you have the subnational governments. And so you have that. But your budget, can your budget support? It's a different thing. If you have a child, you are sending the child to school. You pay his school fees, you buy him books, and the uncle somewhere is giving him a little pocket money. It's not the one sponsoring the child. What the child involves is food, his dressing, his medication. So you can't say that uncle giving him a little pocket money has assumed the responsibility of the upkeep of that child. I hope you understand. So that you are supporting. Supporting is different when it becomes your entire responsibility. I am sure those who have launched all this or that, they understand. What I am saying is this. Go the way of the special constabulary as a beginning. Because law enforcement ordinarily shouldn't be carrying weapons. It is the support divisions. Ordinarily, the blue and the black trousers, all of them shouldn't be carrying weapons. You don't find traffic police carry weapons. But you have the police mobile force, the counter-terrorism unit, and those specialized units that act as support divisions to the police. So this idea of even putting rifles all over the place, how many times have you had there's exchange of gunfire? It's very rare. The bandits just come into a community, boom, they attack and they leave. And then you go after them. It happens so fast. But if you have intelligence, if you invest in intelligence, while they are planning, while they are cooking their devilish plan, the criminal acts, you intercept them. You don't even have the opportunity of firing a shot. So the special constabulary is a useful thing. But I think the fear is because they will be under the command of the local, the DPU. But you can also have a central command if you have the special constabulary. Might be the special advisor on security to their excellencies will now coordinate that office and then work with the DPUs and the CP. And they will tell them, because like they have all of us admit that every crime is local. It happens in the community. Somebody comes to the community. What does he do for a living? Suddenly his lifestyle changes. So when you begin to observe those signs, it is something that those you have in the community, because they are recruited among the people, they know each one. And in that way, you plan an operation, you monitor the guy, you arrest, conduct a search, and find out whether he's doing something. What is he doing to get that money? If it is farm, all of us in the community also have farm. How come he's living differently? So you can deal with crime without firing gun. Law enforcement is not it's not military. So when you are talking about even the biggest banditry, even Bello told you, if you have the right intelligence, that time he's coming to town to see somebody, you just grab him like a woman. You've got to invest in intelligence. And that is why it is important. I have always emphasized, and I commend the recent steps taken by the police management led by IG Alkali to deal with cases of indiscipline among officers. Because when you have a disciplined police force, they can relate better with the community. The community show them more respect, because you respect somebody who is polite to you, somebody who cares about your need. So when you have a police force that is disciplined, it's not going about carry people with an iPad, asking them what is inside, and then dealing with all these things. If you have that, and you get the confidence of the community, I don't have to come from Sokoto to get the confidence of the community, because when they know that I am a person of truth, they will relate with me. So what we need, the governors should open this window while the clamor for state police go on. Yes, they are the chief security officers, but do you think, honestly, even if you are not a serving police officer or a retired police officer, do you think with all the clamor, the oil theft going on, the massive killing and the intimidation and lawlessness that go on in the Southeast in the name of either ESN or whatever, IPOB or whatever, and the other things going on in other parts of the country. Look, the kidnapper live among us. The kidnapper live in our forest. We have people walking in the forest. We have people walking on timber. We have farmers. They see people pass. You see somebody in your community and you have not seen the person before. Once you trust your local police, the DPO, you are able to give information. And this information you give will not jeopardize your security. But you say, oh, if we tell them, ask them, how many police have you told? And it divulged. There is very serious punishment for divulging information about intelligence that has been given to you. So the clamor for state police for now should be kept in abeyance. Let us build the Nigerian police force. Nigerian police force is a good police force. Our boys are very good.
We'll come back to be building the Nigerian police force after this short break.
Thank you.
Every patriotic Nigerian should hear this. Any politician who means well for the people will never allow themselves or their supporters to engage in any violent, destructive activities. No politician who truly wants to serve the people and develop the nation will encourage his followers to destroy properties or take human lives before, during, or after the elections. The Nigerian public must watch out for these traits and isolate any politician who encourages supporters to engage in violence. No genuine politician or patriot will cause trouble and seek to destroy the very society which they aspire to lead or develop. Politicians who have the good of the people at heart will not allow themselves or their followers to engage in violence, destruction of properties, and then taking of lives. Be vigilant. By their words you shall know them. Shun violence. Stay away from politicians who want you to do so. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NORA.
All right, welcome back to Daybreak on Trust TV. Now we're still discussing creation of state police, and we still have in the studio with us retired Assistant Inspector General of Police Wilson Inalegu. Thank you so much for staying with us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right, now some have actually, rather suggested a zonal policing, based on the 6 geopolitical zones. Do you think that should be taken into consideration?
Well, of course, that is going to accommodate especially the minorities, because that means the state will not have a monopoly of one tribe and all that sort of thing. But the idea is that, given the fragility of the moment, that in approaching that, we've got to look at what we have a problem with our unity, I think, a lot of agitations, that let us go back. Let the governors take their time and study the Police Act, study the police special constabulary arrangement, how they can key into it. Once they do that, and it works well, then they begin to talk of the six zonal structure. Of course, when going forward, if they are going to have anything like have a semblance of state police or whatever, that will become clearly. There are many states that cannot support a police force because it's highly capital intensive. But going forward, if at all that is going to be addressed, that may be more useful, because you have about 3, 4, 5, 6 or 6 states having that kind of thing. I think that's the arrangement that the Southwest have about Amotekun. It's a zonal arrangement. That's what they have. But what I'm saying right now, let us, because I imagine that the MPF should bet some of these police forces, because when the Southern Police College was established and the Northern Police College in Kaduna established, I think 1949 and all that, they were meant to take care of such regional arrangements. Now we even have more training institutions. Most states have training institutions. But if you go to the training institutions, they're in a state of dilapidation. They can't support very high quality training. So while that may be an option, the point I am making is, let us manage the current system. Let people get matured to see that power is transient. That today, I am president, I am a senator, I am a governor, but it has a lifespan. And begin to do that, begin to see that if I am not there tomorrow, what happens? I should put in place a system that will cater for all seasons. If you commit an offense, you'll be dealt with as an offender. If you are innocent, you'll be treated as innocent. Not minding where you come from, what language you speak, what religion you belong. So once we begin to aim at that, nobody is going to be apprehensive. If you have family police, compound police, village police, but people want to have a sense of belonging wherever they find themselves. But I think people are apprehensive that if you put us in this state, at this stage, one, our votes could be suppressed. If America, as sophisticated as it is, there were attempts to suppress voters of minorities like blacks and Latinos and the rest of, talk less of a new democracy.
So now, what do you think should be done? What is the way out of this agitation and also managing what is in existence?
Yeah. Number one, the reform of the police, the change process leading to the change of mindset of police should be employed. They should study all these various committees set up and take some salient points. Build a police force that will meet the aspirations of all. A police force that is a force for good, a force for all. Provide basic resources in terms of technology, in terms of vehicles, in terms of manpower, so that when there is something happening in Zurumi village or local government, the police there should be able to give a holding force before we have an intervention or area enforcement. But a situation whereby you are attacking Kajuru and they don't even have a vehicle to respond, that is the problem. Please provide technology, provide vehicles, and then the National Orientation Agency should mobilize the citizens to support crime-fighting initiative. You see, the people should take their responsibility seriously. And once they do that, you are going to have a good police force. A reform, restructuring, rebuilding, provide a police force. Empower the AIGs. Look at, let the National Assembly take a look at how the AIG offices are operating. Is that the intention? Do they have limited power in terms of finance? Award basic, to supply, maybe walkie-talkies, few things that give them that semblance. And the Police Service Commission should partner with the police management to be able to build a virile police force, so that the idea of disagreement, they should all see their role as a call to national service. That means in terms of recruitment, in terms of discipline, and the Police Service Commission and the MPF working together as a family that they are, they can build a police force that will be the envy of all African countries and even internationally. Let me tell you one thing you don't know about the Nigeria Police Force, that they go out and excel. They have the resources. The standard is 3 police personnel to 1 vehicle. But what do you have here? 300 policemen to 3 vehicles. You can never have law enforcement like that. So if you're going forward, therefore, is the governor should study the special constabulary arrangement and say, look, I need 5,000 for my state. They recruit them, send them to the training schools, train them, and put them. So they should pursue that so that every community can have the special constabulary. That's number 1. Number 2, the police management and the Police Service Commission should continue to work assiduously to integrate the police with the community, to of course, the respect for human rights, dealing promptly with disciplinary matters, that the public will have confidence that if you bring a report to the police, it will be dealt with. That if you are the suspect, you are the suspect, and all that. If you do that, you are going to have a force that everybody will be proud of. And integrate to the community, coming to the community, the police working closely with the judiciary and the prison authorities. This is going to help so that has somebody overstayed as an awaiting trial, what are the judges doing about it? Once you bring all this, the administration of justice, these 3 key elements, the judiciary, the correctional service, and the Nigerian Police Force, working closely together, working closely together is going to impact on crime.
All
and
right.
of course, the area council, the local government areas, taking the issue of security right from the village to ward level, discussing it, because everything about security is local.
All right.
When you do that, you are going to get information common, and you don't need to fire a gun to arrest a
Thank you so
very
much.
much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wilson, for
Pleasure,
speaking
thank
with
you.
us, on state policing this morning. That was a retired Assistant Inspector General of Police, Wilson Inalig.